Good morning, Bernie. This is Jeff Flynn. I'm the managing editor at the Boerne Star. Thank you for joining the Boerne Brew. Coming to you in the morning every Saturday, 8 a.m. You know where you are. It's 103.9 FM here on Boerne Radio. Baron Wiley runs this thing well for us and gives a half an hour every Saturday to come in and bring you newsmakers, sports folks, people that you need to hear from or want to hear from or need to be introduced to. We've got one of those here today, Samantha Morganroth. She's the program manager at Greenhaus. Welcome in. Thank you for joining us, Samantha.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're just going to talk a little bit. First of all, we're going to talk about what is Greenhaus. It's not greenhouse, but it's the greenhouse idea, but it's got the German Das and the German Haus.
Got the whole metaphor thing going on too. Yep.
Yeah, you were just promoted into that recently. Correct?
Yes, just a couple of weeks ago. I've been with the organization for about a year and a half now, but just this month stepped into this new role.
What is Greenhaus and what is a business incubator?
So Greenhaus is Boerne's first business incubator. And at Greenhaus, our mission is to support early stage entrepreneurs, innovators, and really anyone looking to start or grow a business here in Kendall County. Our goal is really to build an entire ecosystem around these business owners so that they don't have to face the challenges of entrepreneurship alone.
To me, an incubator is somebody comes in and says, hey, here's what I want to do. I wouldn't expect you to build my business. I have to have the vision. I have to have the business wherewithal. I need capital. I need to have a business plan. When somebody comes to you and says, I got this great idea, but how do you help?
So that's great. And I think one of the important pieces is that we meet people where they're at. So you can come in with just an idea and we can help you grow from there. You can come in with an already established business and we can help you grow what you've already developed. We offer a lot of different things to support our founders. We offer mentorship. I think that's probably one of the most valuable pieces, right? It's someone who's going to learn about your business and guide you through some of the challenges and obstacles you have to overcome. We offer support and resources, so we'll help connect people to different programs and organizations within the community. We help people work through their pitch decks when they're getting ready to go to investors. We help people with their business plans if they're at that stage. We offer educational programs and workshops to build your marketing plan. We offer networking opportunities, and then we offer the physical space too, which is a huge piece of the incubator. It's private offices for those who need it. It's co-working space to get people out of the coffee shops and out of their houses. Yeah. And then it's meeting and event space so people can hold their own workshops and run their strategy sessions and all those things. So
is it fair to say that all these people are coming to you with a business idea, and you mentioned they've been working out of their living room, they've been working out of their sewing room with a laptop. How can I get this going so I can start paying my rent?
Yeah, there's a lot of different situations that people come to us in, but I will say one of the most common is just they're feeling isolated in the entrepreneurship journey, right? A lot of times it's a solo experience and they're working out of their house and they're lonely, and not just lonely, but they need someone to bounce ideas off. They need someone to be a sounding board, someone to help them brainstorm and think through their business model or the idea they came up with for their socials that day. So it's really being that sounding board for people and taking them out of that isolation, which isn't healthy for anyone.
I was telling Samantha earlier, I did my homework. I haven't done homework since I'm 65. It is ideation, maturation, and realization. You have a great idea, but you have to be mature about it, and you got to realize where you're going and how to get there. And that's what you guys do. You come in. Is that correct? You guys come in when somebody has an idea, and we mentioned again, the person coming in, I've got this great idea for a boutique on Main Street.
There's a lot of pieces to think through with that. And we help people think through. One of the first things we talk about is understanding the market for whatever it is you're trying to grow. And we help people think about, have you made sure there's a need? Mm-hmm. Sometimes even backing up to, what problem are you solving? Are you solving a problem? So we make sure that there's a real problem, that there's a real market for the solution that you've come up with. And then looking at the competitors is a huge piece of that early stage. A lot of times people come in, they're like, there's nobody else doing this. And quick Amazon search will tell you a little bit different, but it's about looking at those competitors and making sure that you have a unique value that would make someone choose you over the competitors. And then a lot of it is we work a lot with people on visibility and telling their story is a huge part of it. You can have best business idea and a product or service that people want and need, but if you don't get your story out there and you don't tell it effectively and compellingly, then the business is likely not to grow in the way you want it to. So that's a big piece of what we work with people on too.
I went online and said, let me find 7 reasons why businesses fail. But you can take those failures and address them. Demographics. If you don't know your demographics, you mentioned that earlier, you might be sunk if you don't know your demographics. Business plan, you've got to have a business plan from A to Z, not A to B. Their thing was, you can't go A to B, you got to go A to Z. You can't have an idea and look forward to opening day if you don't know what's going to happen a month, 6 months, a year from then.
And goal setting is one of the most fun things to do with our people that come to us too. So it's talking about, what is your vision for launching? What do you see in 3 years, in 5 years, in 10 years? Helping people establish a vision and a roadmap for how to get there. It can be really supportive to it.
One of the business articles I was reading was the guy said, it's like climbing a ladder. He says, you've got the destination up there, but you can't get there until you get to the next rung. You've got to grasp the next rung before you get up there. You got to go step by step. Competition, you mentioned that. You got to know your competition. You got to know. It's funny, Boerne, I'll take my hat off to these guys. The breweries here in town, they cooperate so well. They work together and they cooperate, and the wineries are the same way that the wineries want to do a wine tour. You can't do that as an individual fact. And that gets back to some mentorship and cohesive construction, being constructive instead of destructive. And Boerne, people are all together. I think that's a great attitude here at Boerne.
Oh, yeah. It's something we help our founders with all the time, is thinking people come in and they want to improve their marketing. They want to grow their audience. And a big thing we talk about a lot is, how can you collaborate with the other organizations that are similar to you in this community? Because you can do really cool things when you put some like minds together and help people understand how each one is different, but then how they complement each other as well. And it can be hugely beneficial for all of the organizations involved when you do have collaborations like that.
The voice you're hearing, folks, it's not mine, is Samantha Morganroth, the program manager at Greenhaus over on Upper Balcones. She's just moved into that spot within the last month or two. She's been with Greenhaus since
January of 2024.
She's been here since 2024 and working with Greenhaus. So she's got her feet wet. She knows what she's doing. Talk about Greenhaus. How do you affect people that come in with an idea? They've got this great brainstorm they had last night, and they've got a couple bucks. How often do you meet somebody and say, we're not going to go down that path?
It's never as simple as that. When people come in, our goal is always to meet them where they're at. Want to hear their ideas. We want to dig into it. Not every idea is feasible as it comes in, but there are iterations upon iterations of ideas, and they can evolve into something really great, even if they didn't start out as that. So we just try to meet people where they're at. Our goal is to be a thought partner and to be a support and a resource to these people. We don't take ownership in these businesses. At the end of the day, I'll sit across from a member and we can brainstorm ideas for 2 hours. What they do when they leave is up to them. They own their business. They own the decision making, but we're just there to be that sounding board, give advice, give feedback, and sometimes ask the tough questions that family and friends don't always want to ask.
A business plan is essential. A lot of people have a great idea, but no business plan, no idea how to get there. Or you have a great business plan and you find out that your profit margin is so severely small that it's not going to work for you. Capital, people don't understand. You can't sink all your money into opening and not have any money left to back up where you want to go. As far as Greenhaus, I think mentoring, because any problem I have, somebody else has. And any problem I have, somebody else has solved. So it's a maturation of getting people linked up with that. Is that not correct?
The mentorship is huge. Honestly, I think probably one of the most valuable pieces that we facilitate. And sometimes as Greenhaus, we're the mentors, right? I mentor a lot of the businesses that go through our program, but we also have tremendous support from business leaders and experts within the community who serve as mentors as well. And I think one of the misconceptions a lot of times is that we'll match someone with a mentor and then they establish this years and years relationship. It's not always like that. A lot of times one founder team can be working with 5 or 6 different mentors at a time. Because like you mentioned, nobody's an expert at everything. And so we bring in different mentors based on whatever the challenge or the need is that team is facing at that time. The consistency then comes from Das Greenhaus, though. I'm visiting with these businesses on a biweekly basis, checking in with them, making sure that they're finding value in the program, making sure that the mentorship is meeting their needs, and when it's not, redirecting and finding a different path forward.
When our listener out there or myself come in and we have an idea, or my three buddies and I come in with an idea, and it looks like it's good, you hook us up with Roland Reese to be a mentor, and it looks like it's going to take off. How long does somebody usually stay within the parameters of Das Greenhaus for resources and marketing and networking until they go out on their own?
So it depends on the business, right? And how far along they are. We are a business incubator, right? So we're not meant to be a partner for the life of your business. Our mission is to support those early stage founders and to help them grow and launch their businesses here in Kendall County. 12 to 24 months is typical to be a member of an incubator. Of course, hit that 24 months, we're not going to kick you out. And we also don't require people to stay for the full 12 months if it's not meeting their needs. If you come in with idea you're so excited about and 6 months in, we realize it's not a feasible plan, we're not going to keep you tied to a membership that's not going to serve
Right.
the promising business idea that you have. So it really is flexible and dependent on the person. But I would say on average, about 12 to 24 months is the goal. I will say we've been open now for about 2 years, and a lot of the businesses that started with us that opening day are still with us because they're still finding value in the program. They're still
Right.
growing. So
Because it's one thing for somebody to mentor you as a business owner. And then once you open that business, it's not, okay, see you later. Because once you open, you have more questions.
oh yeah.
There's far more questions once the business is open. They say hit the ground running, but you got to have shoes. You got to know your path. You got to know when to stop running. You got to know when to sleep. There's so many things to running a business I would
Right.
never, ever understand.
The challenges never stop. They evolve and change as the business grows, but they never stop.
If you had 10, pick 10, we're not going to name them, but in your mind, pick 10 businesses you worked with through Das Greenhaus. What's been the hardest thing for them to overcome? And once they get past it, they're like, whew. What are some factors starting a business is, like you said, a lot of people persevere. They might have that marketing drive. They may be a great people person for communication skills. They may have an accounting background, so the profit margin and accounts receivable, accounts payable is nothing for them. They're fine with that. What's been the biggest thing that you have everybody get together and you've got to get past that?
I think one of the biggest hurdles I see people overcoming is the storytelling behind their business. And that can show up in a couple of different ways. First and foremost, having a very clear explanation of what it is that you are offering and the value that you're bringing. And then beyond that, it's making it so that it's easy for people to understand. We have a lot of people come in with really in-depth backgrounds and experience in the area that they're working in. We have med tech companies, we have climate technology companies, and they're scientists, they're experts in what it is that they're growing and building. But it can be difficult to storytell and to explain that to the everyday person. And
Right.
so a lot of times when you're close to your business and you're so far into it, it can be hard to step back and really make sure that you're explaining it on a level that everyone can understand and see the value in it. And then it's making your storytelling compelling to people and helping them understand why there's such a need for the product or service that you're offering. And so I would say storytelling is one of the biggest things that we work with people on. And once you have that elevator speech down and you have your story down, like you can tell it over, and it's just a beautiful thing when you see people come into that.
Right.
And I think they see tremendous gain once they've overcome that.
It's not marketing your business, but marketing yourself.
Yeah, it's the story you tell yourself. Have you been on the radio or have you been in it's what is the story that you're telling? You're telling it on your website. You're telling it when you meet people, when you explain your business to someone. If you can't tell the story the right way, nobody else is going to be able to. So it's really making sure that story that you own, you have it down packed.
A lot of business owners have come from similar businesses, same line of business. How often do you get the teacher who wants to open the bar, or the guy who was a retired crossing guard who wants to open a sourdough bakery? How often do you get the person that's totally out of their realm, but something you would not expect? They're coming in saying, hi, I'm Jeff Flynn. I'm a reporter. I want to open a vaudeville combination bar entertainment center. You're like, what?
More often than not, it happens the other way around. People come in as an expert in what they're building. But I will say there have been a couple people that have walked through the door and I'm like, wow, that's a unique idea. And I'm curious how you came up with it. You find that a lot of times it may seem like a big departure from what their day job is or what their experience is in, but almost always when you dig into the story, there is some connection to why people want to start and grow the business that they do, whether it's an experience they had as a child or just something they have a hidden passion for. It's usually never completely out of left field. It's not always in the area that their college degree is in or their business experience is in. But there's always something that ties people to those ideas. And I think that's one of the pieces that makes this work so rewarding is just seeing the passion that people have for the ideas that they bring to us. People come to us with excitement and energy, and they're passionate about what it is that they're building. And so it's a privilege to be able to go on that journey with them.
You look them straight in the eye and say, is this something you work 70 to 80 hours a week for? Because you're going to.
Setting expectations is important too.
This is Samantha. I'm talking to Samantha Morganroth here. She's the program manager at Greenhaus. And we're talking about businesses, getting businesses up all around there, an incubator, help you mature your ideas to the final step. The guy said, you can't go A to B, you got to go A to Z. Once you get that first step, pretty soon you're running and you got to get in the race. We're talking about Greenhaus. She's been there January to June. So
it's flown by.
How many businesses have emerged from Greenhaus?
So I will tell you right now, we have about 40 members. And when I first came on the team, I think we were at maybe about 20. So we've definitely grown in membership, but it's constantly changing, right? People come, people go. I will say over the past 2 years, we've seen some really cool success stories out of Greenhaus. And it's a privilege to watch that journey and to watch people grow into their business, achieve the milestones that they set out to achieve. And even in this short 2-year existence of our organization, we've seen some really great success. We are a startup in ourselves. And, you know, I think it makes us uniquely qualified to support a lot of these businesses because we are going through some of those same challenges. We talked earlier about the challenge of storytelling and helping people understand who you are as an organization and what you do. We've gone through that the past year. Right? People have come in asking me where the plants are, where the trees are. I'm like, we're a business incubator. It's a metaphor. Clearly, we face that same struggle of making sure that it's clear in the community who we are and what we offer. Yes, we're a startup and supporting other startups. And we've had the experience of filing to become a legal business in Texas, right? We've had the experience of having to deal with insurance and all those pieces that startups deal with. And I think it makes us uniquely qualified to support them.
There's legal hurdles. There's going down to City Hall and getting all your ducks in a row. City Hall, there's LLC. There's so many things to think about that a lot of folks getting into a business for the first time would not totally comprehend.
Oh, yeah. And it's just helpful to have someone to talk through those pieces with because it's not just steps on a checklist, but within every step on that checklist, you have 5 or 6 different options of what you can do. And so it's helpful to be able to talk through those pieces with someone else and make sure that you're making the right decision based on the business that you want to grow and what your goals are.
How does Greenhaus find its mentors?
I will say one place that we are very blessed with is a very supportive working board. So our board of directors is a huge asset to us. They serve themselves as mentors, and then they've also connected us with their networks. A lot of the local businesses here in Boerne, they offer mentorship. We've had banks that want to come in and serve as mentors. We've had people in the hospitality industry, the Kendall County Economic Development Corporation, the Boerne Chamber. They're great at connecting us with people in specific industries. And then I will say we've had people just walk in off the street that have tremendous experience growing and scaling businesses. And they just want to have that opportunity to give back in the way that they were mentored throughout their careers. So I've been really impressed by just the generosity and willingness to give back of the people in this community.
Back in Ohio, my father was a member of SCORE, Senior Corps of Retired Executives. And these guys you think you build a business, and his construction company went from 50 employees in 25 years to 500, and you do the math for how much that would involve. And then they retire. Where am I going to expend all my knowledge now? and he found out the score. My father was never a subtle man, which is good for business. Somebody in business say, hey, you got to figure this out or you might lose everything. Or you got a great idea. Here's what we got to do to run with it. Let's get this guy. Let's talk to them. Let's get involved with that. So I can understand where the mentors could be very encouraging, but very realistic at the same time.
Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you who some of our favorite mentors also double as investors. We have the Kendall County Angel Network, which is a part of DOS Greenhaus also. And it's a group of accredited investors, and we bring them pitch opportunities. But these angel investors, yes, sometimes they're investing in these companies, but sometimes they just want to be a mentor and offer feedback and advice and guidance. And they bring in a really great perspective because a lot of our early stage founders are eventually going to be looking for investors. So it's helpful to have that perspective from a mentor too, that what is an investor looking for? Even if they're not quite ready for that, bringing those people in as mentors is hugely beneficial.
Friend of mine sat right there a couple times. Michael Etheridge started the Kendall Gentleman. I apologize, Michael. I didn't call you about this first, but you'll use the publicity. The Kendall Gentleman magazine comes out a month. If he comes to you and says, hey, I got this great idea for this magazine I want to do. How do I get businesses to buy in? Where do I get it printed? How do you help somebody along? He'll be the first to admit 3 years ago, he had no concept of what publishing was or how to do it. And now he's doing it so well. How do you get somebody to come along and help them out like that?
And I'm not sure if you know about Michael Etheridge, the Kendall Gentleman. He is one of our newest tenants in our space at DOS Greenhaus.
Great.
Yep. He was actually just in my office yesterday. We closed out the day brainstorming ideas for about the last 2 hours of the workday yesterday. There's different levels. I think the first thing you do is find out where are the pieces that you're unsure of. What is it that you're committed to and certain about that you want to have as a part of your business? And what are the pieces that you don't know? What questions do you have? And then it's pulling in mentors that are experts in that. I have a lot of areas of expertise. Publishing a magazine is not one of them. And so with someone like that, I'm going to pull in people from the community. And again, that's where the EDC, the chamber, those people become hugely valuable in helping us to connect our members with people who are really experts in that specific area. And we reach out to the mentors, we match them up with the founder and help them tackle that challenge that they're at. And then as they get to the next challenge, we embrace that, amplify the entrepreneurial story in Kendall County. It's a win for him. It's a win for us at DOS Greenhaus. Even now that he's got his magazine published and it's in the hands of all these readers, there's still ways to grow that business.
Right. It's a great product too. DOS Greenhaus is here for the person who wants to start a business. Don't sell yourself short, folks.
It's never too early. It's never too late. We've worked with high school founders who have brilliant ideas. We've worked with people in their late 80s who came to an idea later in life and wanted to grow that. It's never too early. It's never too late. There's no set place that you have to be to come to us, right? You come as you are, and we're going to help you grow your idea from there.
If you've just launched a business, DOS Greenhaus is here to mentor. They're here to tie you into resources. They're here to tie you into people who can help you, who have been down the same road you have been down. Everybody has a struggle they're going through, and if you think you're the first person to ever struggle with that, you're very wrong. Somebody else has been down that same road. Maybe they're a mentor at DOS Greenhaus. Maybe there's somebody sitting in her office when you go in and say, I'm having problems with this. Here, meet Michael Etheridge. Here, meet Jeff Flynn. Here, meet Sam McGee, people who have been where you are.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And I will tell you, our founder teams that are going through the incubator program sometimes double as our mentors. And that's a cool thing to see. People are, I don't have anything to offer. I can't serve as a mentor. I'm going through the program myself. Yes, you can.
This is the weekend. If you have an idea, sleep on it, folks. Monday morning, call Samantha Morganroth. How do they get a hold of you, Samantha?
Reach out to us by email, samantha@dosgreenhaus.org.
Spell DOS Greenhaus for us.
Samantha@dosgreenhaus, DASGREENHAUS.org. They can come visit us. We're at 7 Upper Balcones in Boerne, right off of I-10, just past the Starbucks. You don't need to have an appointment. Drop by and visit with us or check out our website, www.dosgreenhaus.org.
Don't sell yourselves short, folks. If you got an idea, make it happen. And DOS Greenhaus is here to help you do that. So listen, folks, enjoy the weekend. This is Das Greenhaus. This is Das Festival weekend, too. Das Festival of Kendall.
We love our heritage here in Boerne.
Yeah, get out there and have fun, folks. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next week. Kerry Barboza will be with somebody in our sports realm. A lot of sports just concluded. He's got a list of people. We'll see who he brings out. So listen, thanks for tuning in. Jeff Flynn at the Boerne Star. Welcome in. Have a great time. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.